Welcome to another edition of Get Woke with Danielle Moodie. All right, folks, so let's dive in. I know that if you are listening and subscribing to this channel, that Donald Trump is a fucking criminal, right? And when we last spoke on Get Woke, guess what? Donald Trump was re-indicted on the charges of, I don't know, inciting an insurrection, interfering with an election, defrauding the American people, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, by Jack Smith. Now, why was he re-indicted? Well, we all know that back in July, before the MAGA Supreme Court went out on vacay, that they decided to give Donald Trump presidential immunity. Well, what does that mean? Well, that means that any acts that are deemed quote unquote presidential have immunity. So if I decide as president to call in SEAL Team 6 to kill my political opponent, well, that's a presidential act, apparently. They left it rather vague, but we know what the point here is, which is to cover Donald Trump's ass, right? Because it's important to cover what you kiss all the time. Okay? See you, Supreme Court? We do. Nonetheless, now, several months later, Jack Smith, special counsel, has re-indicted Donald Trump. Now, one would think that if you are re-indicted of a very serious crime, you wouldn't go on national television and, admit that you've committed the very same crime you've been indicted for. Well, friends, you would be wrong. Take a listen.
Whoever heard you get indicted for interfering with a presidential election where you have every right to do it? You get indicted and your poll numbers go up. When people get indicted, your poll numbers go down.
So, yes, that is Donald Trump on Fox News saying that he had every right to interfere with the election as president of the United States. I don't know what would give him that assumption, being as how that is not the role of a president at all. If you are running for election, the way to do that is to convince people that you have better ideas, have better character, and are worthy of their vote. It is not to tell your vice president of the United States to not certify an election that you haven't rightfully won. And then when he doesn't do that, send a mob of people to go ahead and, yes, try and hang the vice president of the United States. Speaking of which, Donald Trump most recently said that Kamala Harris was, quote, very nasty to Mike Pence, didn't treat him well. Well, did she try and have him killed? Because that would be my barometer as to what I consider nasty.
It should come as no surprise that I will not be endorsing Donald Trump this year. During my presidential campaign, I made it clear that there were profound differences between me and President Trump on a range of issues. Donald Trump is pursuing and articulating an agenda that is at odds with the conservative agenda that we governed on during our 4 years. And that's why I cannot, in good conscience, endorse Donald Trump in this campaign.
Did she tell a mob to go and kill the vice president of the United States? No, she did not. But again, Donald Trump loves to rewrite history as if we don't have cameras, audio, all of the things that are necessary to prove that he continues to lie as much as he breathes. Staying on Donald Trump for a moment. Friends, have you also seen the video of the man at the Trump rally who decided to assault the media? Have you seen this video? A man climbing the scaffolding where the media is behind and assaulting the press in the room. Now, one would think that the presidential candidate that is on stage would say, hey, 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 hold it, stop what you're doing. Hey, police officers, come, take this man down. This is not becoming of my supporters, and this is not what we do. That would be what a normal candidate would do, or a normal person for that matter would do. What did Donald Trump do? Well, take a look.
With the whole election, actually, in 2016 we did great, but 2020 we did much better generally. Since Kamala and the media don't want to talk about her radical record, we will. Beautiful. That's beautiful. That's all right. That's okay. No, he's on our side. We get a little itchy, David, don't we? No, he's on our side.
Yeah, he called it beautiful. Beautiful. He said, hey, to the police officers, he's on our side. Does that sound familiar? It should, because he also referred to the Nazis and white supremacists that marched in Charlottesville as what, folks? Very fine people. What did Donald Trump do at the quote unquote Stop the Steal rally? He told his folks to remove the magnetrons. That's what we learned at the January 6th committee hearing from former Trump staff, that he said, remove, right, the metal detectors, even though he was told that his supporters in the audience had weapons. His response was, quote, they're not here to hurt me.
Even before his rally, Mr. Trump was aware of the potential for violence at the Capitol when he was told some supporters were armed and would not go through security.
I overheard the president say something to the effect of, I don't effing care that they have weapons. They're not here to hurt me. Take the effing bags away. Let my people in. They can march to the Capitol from here.
All as security had spotted Trump supporters carrying AR-15s.
I got 3 men walking down the street in fatigue carrying AR-15s. Copy at 14th and Independence.
Friends, this man is about violence. And what I want to explain to you is that, number one, we need to outvote these MAGA forces so that they don't have a leg to stand on in courtrooms that they are readying, right, their challenges to this election the same way they did in 2020. But this time, they have places like Colorado, like Georgia, that have changed their voter certification laws in preparation to try and steal this election away from the American people and hand it to Donald Trump. So we need to vote in numbers that are too big to fucking steal. That's number one. Number two, there will not be a more dangerous time in this country than between election day and when the election is actually certified. Because I tell you that if we think that it was all said and done on January 6, 2021, I tell you to take Trump and his followers at their word that there will be violence, right? That follows the election because Donald Trump wants it that way. We have the opportunity, dear friends, with this election to put the nail in Donald Trump's coffin. Why do I say that? Because Donald Trump only continues to evade accountability and responsibility for what he did on January 6th if, in fact, he becomes president of the United States again. Because then all of those cases at the federal level go away. Gone. The only way to ensure that Donald Trump is held accountable years after he committed the crime is if we have a new Democratic administration, a Democratic Senate, a Democratic House, and guess what? That Vice President Harris, a former prosecutor, gets to choose the new U.S. Attorney General. And praise be, it won't fucking be Merrick Garland, because that spineless sloth is the reason why America is in this problem again with Donald Trump. Because had Merrick Garland done what he needed to do when he was sworn in back in 2021, if he began to press charges against Donald Trump with the Mueller report that had already shown 10 ways in which Donald Trump violated the office of the presidency, then we wouldn't have been pushed up against an election. But he chose the institution and the preservation of some type of political norms and traditions rather than dealing with Donald Trump so that the American people didn't need to vote this motherfucker out again. Lord. Dear friends, that is it for me today on Get Woke with Danielle Moodie. I will tell you that if you like this sweatshirt that I'm wearing because cozy season has arrived, then head over to daniellemoodie.com and grab a version for yourself at the Damn Shop. The Future is Woke capsule collection is out now. And friends, please, as I continue to grow this fantastic community, send these videos to your friends, like and subscribe, and share. As always, power to the people, and to all the people power. Get woke and stay woke.